This moment right here didn't just change the Nuggets season, it might have changed the entire future of the franchise. When Nikola Jokic went down with a serious injury for the first time in his NBA career, fans braced for disaster. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, Jonas Valanciunas went down the very next game, leaving the Nuggets without two of their key pieces. Cam Johnson was already sidelined, and the spotlight naturally fell on Jamal Murray to carry the team. But what happened next wasn't what anyone expected. With Jokic and the usual stars out, an opportunity emerged for a 23-year-old named Peyton Watson. Once an afterthought on offense, now given more responsibility and more shots, Watson stepped up and refused to let it slip. The results have been jaw-dropping. Over a 5-game stretch since Jokic's injury just before New Year's Day, Watson has averaged over 24 points, nearly 6 rebounds, and over 2 assists per game. But it's not just the numbers, it's the way he's doing it that's turning heads. Take the recent game in Boston against arguably the hottest team in the NBA over the past month. Watson walked into TD Garden and dropped 30 points, hitting shot after shot after shot. Three-pointers, mid-range fades, floaters over massive defenders. This wasn't a hot streak. This was a statement. He's showing poise, confidence, and a natural ability to take control of games, even with the league's best defenders standing in his way. And the plays themselves? Pure star material. Against Houston, he sizes up a defender, uses a subtle screen from JxmyHighRoller, and calmly drains a fadeaway jumper. Against Philly, he crosses one way, then the other, stepping back over Joel Embiid to drain a shot that would make even seasoned veterans take notice. And it's not just the flash, it's the comfort he shows doing it. Peyton Watson moves like he belongs in these moments, reading defenders, creating space, and making the game look effortless. Every dribble, every move, every shot is a reminder that Watson isn't just a fill-in. He's a player evolving into a star. The confidence, the timing, the fearlessness, this is what sets apart great players from future legends. And watching him operate alongside Jokic, even when the superstar is sidelined, it's clear. The Nuggets may have unearthed something special, a star in the making who could define their future for years to come. Peyton Watson is showing flashes of a star in the making, and honestly, the reality is he was already having a solid season before these last 5 games. In fact, I had considered making a video on P-Watt even before this breakout stretch. The thing is, during most of those earlier games, a lot of his offensive production was coming off the back of Nikola Jokic. Watson thrived playing off Jokic, finding opportunistic baskets around the rim, improving his timing, finishing with efficiency, and getting a lot of easy buckets simply because of how elite Jokic is at creating space. At the time, it may have seemed like Peyton Watson was a byproduct of Jokic's brilliance, benefiting from an offense built around one of the greatest players ever. But now, we're seeing the full picture. Take Jokic out of the equation, and yes, Watson loses some of those easy baskets. But what we're seeing now is that he has the handle, the pull-up shooting, and the confidence to create his own offense. He's taking defenders one-on-one, attacking the rim, and showing a level of creativity and control that he simply didn't have the opportunity to display before. And it's not just Jokic's absence that's highlighted this growth. Cam Johnson, Tim Hardaway Jr., and other key players missing time have forced Watson to step up. These circumstances have revealed what we already glimpsed, his potential. But here's the difference. Before, these moments were sporadic. Once every 10 games, maybe, Peyton Watson would hit a ridiculous shot or pull off a jaw-dropping play. Now, it's happening multiple times per game. And it's not just about the mid-range jumpers or pull-up threes, it's how he's handling himself on the court. What's truly impressive is his ball handling and confidence. This is where Watson is taking it to another level. His ability to take defenders off the dribble consistently has been a revelation. Late in the game against the 76ers, for example, he received a kick-out pass and immediately blew past Quentin Grimes, navigating collapsing defenders with poise. Watch the presence of mind as he finds JxmyHighRoller for an open 3. This shows a deep understanding of the pace and spacing he can operate in. At 6'8", Watson isn't just an athlete who can catch lobs or finish in transition. He can dissect a defense in the mid-range, attack downhill against elite rim protectors like Joel Embiid, and even facilitate for teammates. In one play, he gets the handoff from Don Holmes, maneuvers around Maxi Kleber's help, draws Embiid, and finds a cutting teammate for an easy bucket. This combination of on-ball creation and off-ball awareness is exactly what the Nuggets need. While many think Denver's offense relies entirely on Jokic and Jamal Murray, Watson's emergence adds a new dimension, one we saw briefly in last year's playoffs against the Thunder. He's not just filling a role, he's evolving into a player capable of dictating the flow, creating shots for himself and others, and potentially becoming a cornerstone alongside Jokic and Murray. When the Thunder schemed against the Nuggets last season, trying to contain Braun, Westbrook, Watson, and even MPJ, it worked. They disrupted the flow, limited Jokic, and exposed the team's weaknesses. But now, with this version of Peyton Watson, the dynamic changes completely. Defenses can no longer just focus on Jokic and Murray because Watson has proven he can take over in ways that make opponents rethink their entire game plan. And the remarkable part? Peyton Watson always knew what he was capable of, even if the rest of the league didn't fully believe it. The difference now is opportunity. With the key players sidelined, Watson was forced to step into a starring role, and what we're seeing is the emergence of a player who can dominate on both ends of the floor. What most people don't realize is that offense was never supposed to be Watson's calling card. From the moment he first appeared for the Nuggets, he made his mark for one reason: defense. I remember his rookie season vividly. In a game against the Warriors with minimal playing time all season, he ended up with not one, not two, but 3 blocks against Steph Curry. And these weren't ordinary blocks. They were displays of timing, explosiveness, and length that made you stop and say, "Who is this kid?" At 6'8", Watson was already showing the ability to change a game defensively, disrupting shots from players much bigger or more experienced than him. And just because he's taken on a bigger offensive role now, doesn't mean he's stopped playing defense. Far from it. Watch him isolate against Pritchard, staying locked in before Pritchard passes to Walsh, where Watson's presence forces the action and Pat cleans up at the rim. Or the insane play against Philadelphia. Watson is in help position on Maxi Kleber's drive, anticipating the shot, and somehow also contests VJ at the three-point line. This isn't typical defensive impact. This is a two-way game at an elite level. The Nuggets now have a player capable of defending at an elite level while also putting up 20 points a night, hitting pull-up jumpers, and creating offense off the dribble at 6/8. That combination? That's rare, that's versatile, and it's terrifying for the rest of the NBA. The Nuggets are not just developing a player, they're building a two-way star who can impact every facet of the game. And mark my words, Denver better be ready to reward Peyton Watson accordingly, because this kid is the future, and he's showing the league exactly why.